I'm going to talk today about how you decide to see a therapist, and having made that decision to see someone, how you actually choose a therapist. So starting off with the advantages of seeing somebody professionally as opposed to talking with a member of your family or a close friend. I think for all of us, we have friends and people that we can confide in. The difficulty, if you've realised or identified that there's something in your life which keeps recurring, that pattern of it keeps coming around again, you keep ending up back in the same place, wondering how you got there, or you just have a feeling that you're wanting to make changes in your life, but you're not quite sure how to go about it. Any of those things may bring you to a point where you feel that it may be a good idea to consult somebody professionally. The advantage, one of the main advantages as I see it, is that you don't have any emotional investment in the relationship with the therapist. I don't mean that you don't have a relationship with them, it's through the relationship with your therapist that the work actually gets done and that things actually become healed over time. But unlike a member of your family or a friend, where there may be part of you that holds back, part of the issue that you want to discuss, you don't end up really telling the full story because you don't know how they might take that. You wonder how they'll perceive you as a result of you disclosing that. It's difficult to talk about your deepest feelings without making yourself extremely vulnerable in a friendship or with a member of your family. And that can change the relationship forever in a way that you cannot have foreseen. So it's also quite a risky thing to do. So talking with somebody who is removed emotionally in that sense, who doesn't know you, who doesn't know what's gone before, what they provide is a safe space in which you can explore. And a good therapist will hold that space for you for the amount of time that you're meeting, however regularly that you're meeting. And over time, as you talk and as you acknowledge things and as you explore possibilities, that gives the opportunity for growth, for personal growth, for resolving certain things, for accepting certain things, for letting go of certain things that you can't change and that you recognise and acknowledge that you can't change, but also for moving forward, for releasing the past and for moving forward with your life. It takes courage, I think, to go into therapy, and it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not an easy option, but it is incredibly exciting once you make that commitment and once you start to realise some of the things that you've not been consciously aware of before, and those patterns that the therapist will be able to help you to recognise and to observe within yourself. It's only when you have that ability to recognise and observe those patterns that you can do anything about them. How do you choose the right therapist for you? And you're obviously going to invest some time, energy and money in this process. So it's very important that you find the right person. One of the things that I would always do is to ask people that you know if there's anyone that they can recommend. Or you could ask a forum that you're part of if there's anyone that can be recommended, and see whose name pops up once or twice. The other thing that you can do is explore different professional bodies, depending on the nature of the challenge that you're facing. For example, if it is a mental health issue, or if it's a work-related issue, if it's a personal development issue. So you could look for specialists in those areas. I'd recommend considering not only the person's qualifications, professional training, but also how long they've been doing what they're doing, what their experience is, and what their particular interests are, so that you can match that with what you feel that you're looking for. If you, for example, if you go through your GP, if you're in the UK, then we have a practice therapist scheme within general practice that you can access. That is usually largely CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy based, but depending on the therapist and that particular person's expertise, training, background, they may have other skills that they can offer if they're allowed to within the service. That does mean probably that you will have little choice in the person, and it's a bit hit and miss. So you may get somebody fantastic, you may get somebody that you actually don't feel there's quite such a good match there for you, and that there isn't that resonation with the practitioner, with the therapist. The other thing that you can do if you're seeking services of an independent professional therapist is to look at websites, to look at their social media platforms, to look at any YouTube films that they've made, and just get a sense, a flavour of who they are and a little bit about the way that they work. That will, if you observe those things, that will come through quite clearly in how they present themselves and the material that they're presenting, and then you can make a decision whether to contact them or not. And again, I'd recommend contacting perhaps 2 or maybe even 3 people, setting up an initial chat with them. Most people will offer, I always offer a 20-30 minute free consultation, no obligation, and it's an opportunity for you to talk with me, for me to talk with you, to find out what the nature of the difficulty is that you're wanting to address, and then to look at whether there's a match there, whether that feels good for you, whether you feel that you then do want to commit to an initial consultation. Again, at the end of that initial consultation, if for whatever reason, this very, very rarely happens with me, once I've had that chat and I know whether it feels okay to work with that person, I'm pretty sure that they will know that it's okay to work with me too. And so we go ahead, we make the initial appointment. But if at the end of that initial appointment, you then feel that this just isn't right, it's not working, I think it very much should be then that you can say, actually, you know, I think I'd like to see someone else. This just doesn't feel right for me. And absolutely, if you feel that you can't say that, then I think that would be, again, an indication that this isn't the right person to be working with, because the person should very much be giving you every opportunity to decide at that point whether you want to take the work forward and start working together over a period of time, which would be mutually agreed. The regularity of the sessions, the length of the sessions, and the fee that you're going to be paying for those sessions. So I'm going to leave you with those thoughts, some of my thoughts around the value and purpose of therapy, and also how you would go about choosing the right person to work with. Just to reiterate that the process of therapy is very much about what goes on in that space with those 2 people. And I would say it's just as important to go on how you feel about the person as the qualification. So you may have 2 people with an identical qualification, a seemingly pretty similar format of training, but you may feel very comfortable with one of them and much less comfortable with the other one. Trust your gut. You need to feel that you can tell this person anything, not necessarily on the first meeting, but that you would feel safe and comfortable to be open and to be honest with them. If you don't feel that you can open up over time and be completely honest in that space, then you're going to be wasting your time, effort and money. So thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this film and something of it has resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel. And also, if something about what I've been saying has resonated and you are considering personal therapy, you can get in contact with me by messaging me underneath this film, leaving a comment, or you can have a look on my Facebook, which is Self-Development Leicester, and leave me a message there. My website is still under construction, my new website at the moment, but there will be something up in the next week or so. So I'm sure that you can also leave me a message there too. So until we meet again, good health, and thank you for joining me today.